Hi, today topic is spinal cord injury. So let's see what is a spinal cord injury. Okay, so first is definition. So spinal cord injury is defined as the injury in the spinal cord. Okay, so the injury may occur in the spinal cord or the vertebral column. Okay, so the injury may damages the nerves and the brain. Okay, due to damage in the nerves and the brain, which causes a temporary or permanent loss of muscle function in the body parts. Okay, so this is the definition of spinal cord injury. Okay, so next we are going to see etiology. What are the etiology of spinal cord injury? Okay, so first one is fall down. Due to fall down injury, spinal cord injury may occur. Okay, fall down injury, first causes. And second one is if any road traffic accidents. Okay, so road traffic accidents and due to gun shoots and knife wounds, and if any brain tumors. Okay, and also wound swabs or due to osteoporosis and osteomyelitis, and also any vascular disease. Okay, any vascular disease disorders, aneurysm and syringomalaria. Okay, so these are the etiology of spinal cord injury. Okay, so next we are going to see pathophysiology. Okay, so first due to etiological factors, it causes injury in the vertebral column. Okay, injury in vertebral column. So due to injury in the vertebral column, it causes acceleration and deceleration of deformity occur. Okay, it occurs from various part in the spinal cord. Okay, from various part in the spinal cord. So due to acceleration and deceleration deformity, there is a force injury in the spinal cord. Okay, force injury may occur in the spinal cord. Due to force injury in the spinal cord, it causes the compression of the vertebrae. Okay, so compression of vertebrae will occur. Okay, so then due to compression of vertebra, so here spinal cord compression will occur. Okay, spinal cord compression. Due to spinal cord compression, it causes necrosis or embolism in the vertebrae. Okay, necrosis or embolism vertebrae will occur. Okay, so it causes necrosis causes excessive bleeding. So due to excessive bleeding, destruction of the myelin sheath will occur. Okay, destruction of myelin sheath will occur. So due to destruction of myelin sheath, spinal cord injury will occur. Okay, so this is the pathophysiology of spinal cord injury. Okay, so next one is we are going to see levels of injury. Okay, so we are going to divide it into one is description and one is levels of injury. Okay, so first in C5. Okay, so here the patient will able to lift the shoulder. Okay, able to lift the shoulder and elbow, but there is no sensation in the clavicle area, but no sensation in clavicle area in C5. Okay, so in C6, here the patient is able to lift the shoulder and elbow. Shoulder and elbow is able to shift. Okay, but here partially the patient is partially lift the wrist, okay, partially lift the wrist, and it mainly affect the thumb finger, okay, it mainly affect the thumb finger. Okay, in C7, the patient is able to lift the shoulder, okay, shoulder, elbow, wrist, okay, and there is a loss of sensation in the mid chest, okay, loss of sensation in mid chest, okay. So next one is above thoracic, okay. So in above thoracic, quadriplegia will occur, okay, and in below T7, paraplegia in the lower limb will occur, okay, in the lower limb will be occur, okay. So okay, this is all about levels of spinal cord injury. So in C5, the patient is able to lift the shoulder, okay, the patient is able to lift the shoulder and elbow, but no sensation in the clavicle area, okay. So in C5, okay, and in C6, the patient is able to lift the shoulder and elbow, and partially the patient will able to lift the wrist, okay, and mainly it affects in the thumb finger. So in C7, the patient is able to lift the shoulder, elbow and wrist, but there is a loss of sensation in the mid chest, okay. So next one is above thoracic, okay. So in above thoracic, quadriplegia will occur, okay. Quadriplegia is paralysis, okay. So it is a paralysis of the 4 limbs will occur, okay. Next, below T7, the paraplegia in the lower limb will occur, okay. So it is a paralysis. So next we are going to see syndrome of spinal cord, okay, spinal cord injury syndrome, okay. So first syndrome is central cord syndrome. First, there are 3 syndromes. First syndrome is central cord syndrome, and second syndrome is anterior cord syndrome, okay, anterior cord syndrome, and third one is Brown-Sequard syndrome, okay. There are 3 syndromes. So first we are going to see central cord syndrome, okay, central cord syndrome. So here hyperflexion or hyperextension of the injuries, okay. Here there may be a hyperflexion or hyperextension may occur due to injuries, okay. So in central cord syndrome, signs and symptoms are weakness in the lower limb may occur, okay, weakness in lower limb, okay. So the weakness is due to edema and hemorrhage, okay, the weakness may cause due to edema and hemorrhage. So this is central cord syndrome, okay. So next we are going to see second one is anterior cord syndrome, okay, which is ACS. So here completely the spinal cord will be affected, okay, completely the spinal cord will be affected. So here signs and symptoms are loss of sensation will occur, okay, signs and symptoms is loss of sensation, and also touch pain, temperature cannot be assessed. If we touch, the patient cannot be assessed, okay. Pain and temperature cannot be assessed the patient condition, okay. So next one is Brown-Sequard syndrome, okay. So here ipsilateral part of the body is affected, okay, ipsilateral part of body is affected, and here motor paralysis and loss of involuntary movement, motor paralysis, loss of involuntary movement will occur, okay, and also loss of temperature. So these are Brown-Sequard syndrome, okay, and also loss of temperature. So next we are going to see classification of spinal cord, okay. What are the classification? So there are 4 classification, okay. So traumatic spinal cord injury is classified into 5 categories. Okay, it is classified into 5 categories. So by American Spinal Cord Injury Association. Okay, American Spinal Cord Injury Association, and also International Spinal Cord Injury. Okay, International Spinal Cord Injury. So traumatic spinal cord injury is classified into 5 categories by American Spinal Cord Injury Association and also by International Spinal Cord Injury. Okay, sorry. So first one is A. Okay, so A indicates here there is a complete spinal cord injury. Okay, so where no motor or sensory, okay, motor and sensory function is preserved. Okay, in the sacral segment. Okay, which is S4 and S5. Okay, so second one B. Okay, here B indicates, so here is a complete spinal cord injury where sensory but not motor. Okay, here no motor and sensory function is preserved, and here sensory but not motor function is preserved. Okay, motor function is preserved below the neurological level. Okay, below the neurological level, and also it includes a sacral segment. Okay, includes sacral segment which is S4 and S5. Okay, so next one is C indicates. Okay, let's see what C indicates. Here is a complete spinal cord injury where motor function is preserved. Okay, motor function will be preserved below the neurological level. Okay, below the neurological level, and at last off of the key muscles. Okay, below the neurological which have the grade 3 or more. Okay, grade 3 or more. So next one is D. Okay, so we already see D now. Sorry, in C there is a complete spinal cord injury and motor function is preserved. Okay, below the neurological level. Okay, so next we are going to see grade D. Okay, sorry, D indicates here incomplete spinal cord injury where motor function is preserved. Okay, motor function is preserved below the neurological level. Okay, below the neurological level, and at least off of the key muscles. Okay, below the neurological level which have a muscle grade of 3. Okay, which have muscle grade of 3 or more. Okay, so next one is E. Okay, E indicates normal. Okay, the spinal cord injury is normal where motor and spinal cord injury also normal. Okay, so these are the classifications of spinal cord injury. Okay, we are going to see clinical manifestation of spinal cord injury. Okay, in the neck and back. Okay, and the patient have numbness sensation. Okay, so second one is numbness, and also the patient feel tingling sensation. Okay, tingling sensation, and muscle weakness will be there. Muscle weakness. Okay, and also patient have respiratory problem, and also sensory and motor paralysis will be there. Sensory and motor paralysis. Okay, so and also loss of spinal reflexes will occur due to spinal cord injury. Loss of spinal reflexes. Okay, so hypotension, edema. Okay, and also blurred vision. Okay, blurred vision, and loss of bowel and bladder pattern. Okay, bowel and bladder pattern, and also loss of sensation will occur below the limb. Okay, loss of sensation, flaccid paralysis, which means stiffness of muscles will occur. Okay, flaccid paralysis, and also spinal shock and vomiting. Okay, so these are the clinical manifestation of spinal cord injury. So next we are going to see diagnosis. Okay, what are the diagnoses? First, MRI will be done. So it is to detect any necrosis or embolism. Okay, to detect any necrosis or embolism, MRI will be done. So second one is X-ray, and culture sensitivity will be done, and also EEG. Okay, so next one is management. So here anticoagulant therapy will be given. Anticoagulant therapy will be given. In anticoagulant therapy, heparin will be given. Okay, and also warfarin, and vasoactive agent. Vasoactive agent will be given to support the blood pressure. Okay, to support blood pressure, vasoactive agent will be given. Okay, for example, methylprednisolone will be given. Prednisolone. Okay, and also antibiotic will be given if any infection will be present. Okay, to prevent, and antispasmodics. Okay, the medical management. Next we are going to see surgical management. Okay, what are the surgical management of spinal cord injury? Okay, first one is craniotomy will be done. Okay, so here open and removal of the affected part will be done in craniotomy. Okay, in craniectomy, removal of affected part. Okay, so and also shunt procedure will be done. So these are the surgical management. Okay, so next one is nursing management. So in nursing management, pain scale assessment should be done. Okay, pain scale assessment, and we should monitor the weight daily. Okay, and nutritional food will be given. Okay, so comfort devices should be given. If the patient is immobilized, comfort devices will be given like walker, wheelers. Okay, and also prevent bed sore. You should prevent. So these all about a spinal cord injury. Okay, thank you.